Working with data files in MATLAB, particularly saving MATLAB variables to external data files and loading data from external files into MATLAB variables. So first we want to be able to save MATLAB variables to a file. We use MATLAB's save function for this, which has a few different inputs. The essential one is the file name. You want to specify what file you want to save your information into with the appropriate extension. By default, MATLAB assumes you want a .mat or a mat file. This is a MATLAB binary file that contains all the information the variables had in the workspace, their names and numerical values, exactly how they were in the workspace. And that can be real convenient if you're sticking with MATLAB. But if you're doing anything outside of MATLAB with this data, you may need a .txt or similar type of text file. The file name needs to be a string or character array. The variables input is optional. It is the names of variables to be saved as string or character arrays, and if you have more than one variable you want, you separate them by commas. So a collection of strings separated by commas. If you do not specify which variables you want to be saved, MATLAB saves the whole workspace. The format input is optional. It is necessary if you are trying to save to a text type file. You want to specify -ASCII or ASCII for text files. Otherwise, MATLAB formats the file as a mat file regardless of the file name. And the append flag is optional. If you tell MATLAB you want to save by appending, MATLAB will add whatever data is being saved onto the end of the existing file. If you do not tell MATLAB to append as you save, it will overwrite the existing file. For example, if we had three variables, time, x, and y, and each was a column array, I would concatenate them into a single three-column array with however many rows are involved, and save them as txy.mat and provide the variable txy as indicated. This will create a MATLAB binary file and save those three variables into it. However, if you need a text file, replace the txy.mat with txy.text and add the ASCII format flag onto the end of the command. And this would give you a text file that you could open and edit in Notepad, in Excel, or whatever other software you're using. We've saved variables to file. Now we want to bring it back into MATLAB or to bring information from some other source back into MATLAB. We use the load function for this. It's a little simpler than save. You load your file name with extension as a string or character array. If you have a mat file that your data is saved in, you can specify which variables you want to load. In particular, if you do not specify which variables you want, MATLAB loads whatever was in the workspace. You can't specify which variables you want out of a text file. If you need a little bit more sophistication, I recommend looking into the MATLAB table functions, where tables are a type of variable introduced recently in MATLAB for data processing in particular. They keep things a little better organized than just arrays and blob text. So the save command with the ASCII flag creates a basic text blob. We may want to include variable names and retain a little more information and keep things organized. The way you do this is you convert your arrays of data into a table variable and save that table. So for example, if we saved our txy array into a text file, you would get something like this, where you have three columns, no labels, and MATLAB decides that the 8 significant figures with the exponential notation is the way to go. However, if instead we collect those variables into a table and write that table, we get a slightly different looking text file that includes the variable names on the first row and a little bit more traditional number formatting, actually with higher precision. We can do that, and it's as simple as read table and throwing the file name in there, and loading from that txy.txt that we created with write table. You get this this nicely formatted variable collection, as you see here, and you can access each column out of that table using the table name dot the column name. So if I wanted the time variable information out of this table, I would say t.time. Hope this helps. There's lots of documentation from MathWorks online. Have a look at that, and good luck with whatever you're working on.